So for me, losing my father, he was ill. He was very ill. He had been ill for about a decade. There were many hospital visits, back and forth, and he had so many different things that were wrong with him. And the last couple of years he became bedbound. This last 10 years was probably the thing that I found so hard when he did pass away. It was the pain of seeing a man. He was a huge character, a Danish man, the Viking we called him, and he was such a big character, strong character, and just when, right up until the day he died, there was no not knowing if my dad was around. He was there all right. And seeing that slow progression, that really pained me, especially so after he died. Probably in some way more so, I grieved over those years than I did his actual loss. In a way, just the sadness around what he had to deal with was immense. I was fortunate enough, I feel honoured that I was able to be with him in his last hours. I had never seen death before. As a child, I was scared of death. I was scared of anyone dying. And the moment that I realised my dad had passed, not only was it deeply emotional, but I will never forget standing by his bedside, and I literally felt like someone had come and put a sword through my heart. I felt a physical pain just like that come through me. It shows how our mind and our bodies are so connected. And then I went into shock, and yeah. But the grieving process takes as long as it takes, and as people say, it does take time. But what I think is so important is that we allow ourselves to grieve. It can be very hard, especially if you're losing a parent. You're probably of a certain age that maybe you have your own children, so you're worried about how they will feel, how they will react to your grief. But it's very important that we don't fight our grief. It's an important part. It's an important part. And as all-consuming and disabling as grief can be, when we have a relationship with anybody, whether that be our mother, our father, our spouse, our children, our friends, that relationship, you and I, in that relationship, one of us, always one of us, will feel that grief. And grief is the price that we pay for love. And I think when we think about grief, it is because of love. It is because we have loved that person. You know, they might have behaved in certain ways and done certain things. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? No one's perfect. So there might be different emotions mixed in. Yeah, I understand that. But essentially, the grief is the loss of your love. One thing I remember reading when I lost my father, I remember reading a comment, I can't remember where, and someone had written, there will be one point at which, when you remember the one that you have lost, rather than be filled with sadness, that sadness will be replaced with a smile. And I really held on to those words because the sadness was so real. But I thought maybe one day I can get to that point. And I have. And one of the ways that with my daughter, with my brothers, one of the ways that we keep my father, her grandfather, really close to us is we communicate, we bring him in. Especially with my brothers. I mean, my dad, as I say, he was Danish. He had such a strong accent. And he used to have all these sayings. And so now, when I go and visit my brothers in Scotland, we will be talking and we will be saying, you what? And I want a carry, which is what he used to call a curry. And all these little family known jokes, all these things, all these character traits of my dad that just bring such a smile to our face because he was such a character. And with my daughter now, we talk like granddad, yeah? And that is a beautiful feeling because as I'm saying those words in that wonderful, unique accent he had, and I'm reacting to something in the way that I knew he would react, he is so alive in me. Something also to remember is we are a body. Yeah, our body is a vessel. We are a body, and our soul, our spirit is within us, is in this body. And love is such a purity. It's such a joy. It's like the purest, most wonderful thing. And when you love someone, even if their body has now given up, I believe it does help, because I believe that my father soul carries on. Okay, it's more difficult, I think, if you are atheist. I understand that, but my personal belief is very much that his spirit is still there. But that love, that energy, that purity, love is so powerful. Love can do so much, that energy, that love between you and another person does not die. The love that you shared together, that love does not die. Yeah? I think about my granddad who passed away. I think I was about 14. And when I talk about my granddad, although it was so many years ago, I love my granddad. Oh, I love my granddad. Yeah, I love him. I love him. He may not be here on earth physically, but my love for him is still so alive. So therefore, that connection between you and them is still so very much alive. Whatever you believe happens when we pass, yeah, you can't get rid of that love. It's not going to go away, all because they physically aren't here anymore. And that, I think, changes things. When you think about that love for them, their love for you, that never dies, that brings you closer as well. I think it's important not to fight the grief. I know so often we fight our negative feelings. We don't want them in our body. I remember my ex used to say, I always knew when you were upset because the house would be clean. Because like something upset me, I don't want to think about it, I'm upset, I'm clean the house. Yeah? Maybe that's why he liked to get me cross, because he just wanted a clean house, not because he was upset with me. Only joking. Yeah? Don't fight it. Grief is a very personal thing. So if you can get that time to be alone, let that grief come in. If you can cry, cry. That is so important. It's so important to release that emotion. That is all part of your healing. Just let that grief come in, and it will overwhelm you. It will overwhelm you. But if you don't fight it, if you allow yourself to feel it in your hands, in your fingertips, it will take over your body. I don't mean wallow in it, but just let it come. Let it come. and feel that loss and feel that sadness. That is how we can work through our grief. There is no time limit on how long we will grieve for, but we just have to allow ourselves to grieve. If you are going through this, my heart goes out to you, because it is so tough. But let the tears flow when you can, even if that's just, if you go to a quiet corner, just let them flow. And if you can't, I personally, I find I have a problem. I can't cry. Okay, I did cry when my father died. I did cry. Yes, I did. But months later, the sadness is still there, so intense, and I could not cry. This is just who I am. I feel things so deeply. But then I've always had a problem with releasing. And we don't want to store those feelings inside our body. We want to let those feelings flow through. Something I find helpful to me is when I walk my dog in the woods and I am in an emotional state, I listen to music. Generally sad music or with a sad tone. And I find I'm able, not to cry, but I'm able to release that sadness, feel that sadness through the music. I find music very helpful for me in releasing my emotions. So we all have our own ways. There's no right, there's no wrong. But just don't fight it. And one day, it will happen. One day, you will think of your loved one and you will smile.